Hello everyone, my name is Jesus and welcome back to my channel. I want to talk to you today about videos that we've all seen online whenever there's a bill that's being voted on and politicians are asked by reporters if they're against or for the bill. And a lot of times we hear politicians say that they're either against it because of their beliefs or they support it because of their beliefs. And when I hear that, I can't help but think to myself, are those politicians there to give representation to the voice of their constituents, or are they there to advocate for their own beliefs? Let's talk about that today. But before we do, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. It would really help me out. Now let's get back to the topic. An example that I can think of this would be an example like cutting taxes for the rich. Whenever we have votes to pass tax cuts for the rich, we have a lot of people who are against it or for it. And politicians, some of them believe in passing those tax cuts because maybe they believe in the trickle-down theory, or because, as a lot of people say, it's because lobbyists have convinced them to vote for them. But at the same time, what if, as we've seen, many of their constituents are against passing tax cuts for the rich because they believe it won't help them? But still, the politician passes or votes to pass the bill to give tax cuts for the rich. In that case, the politician is not giving voice to his constituents. He's advocating for what he believes in, which I believe is wrong, because he was sent there to give a voice to the constituents that put him in office. And ideally, whenever we elect politicians, we don't really need to know what their personal beliefs are. What we want to know is if they're going to fight for the voice of the constituents. This means that even if he supports passing tax cuts for the rich, but his constituents do not, he's going to have to put his beliefs aside to be able to do his job and vote against tax cuts for the rich, because that's what the majority of his constituents want. And I think that is what we should be seeing from politicians. But instead, on a variety of issues, like I mentioned earlier, we just keep hearing politicians say that because of their strongly held beliefs, they are going to vote for XYZ bill, or because of their strongly held beliefs, they're going to vote against XYZ bill. And to me, I feel like that is just them advocating for their own beliefs, their own interests, rather than doing the job they were elected for, which is to represent the constituents who put him in office. And I can't help to think that every time I see those interviews, because the first thing that representatives should answer, in my opinion, whenever they're asked if they're going to vote against a bill or for a bill, it should be, they should say something like, my constituents want me to do XYZ. They shouldn't be saying they're going to vote for a bill or vote against it because of their deeply held beliefs. Because while we can respect each person's individual beliefs, including, of course, politicians' beliefs, the job that they were elected to do was not to advocate for their own beliefs. It was to advocate for the voice of their constituents so that they can get their voices heard and their concerns heard. And I think that's something that we don't talk about enough. And I want to know what you think about this subject, because I think it's a very interesting subject that needs to be discussed more. Please like the video and share it. It would really help me out. And until next time, I hope you have a great rest of your day.